My name. That's what everybody called me growing up. Alright. Turkey. So, to get these two perfect Elder Claws, which have 44 HP, 47 stamina, 45 food, 52 weight, 47 oxygen, and 46 melee damage, you start by taming an absolute fuckload of Elder Claws. And then once you tame a whole fucking shitload, you take your highest of every stat. You can see this Elder Claw has the high weight at 52. This one has the high oxygen at 47. High food at 45. High stamina at 47. High melee at 46. And the high health at 44. And then what you do is once you have all of your high stats labeled out here, you're going to start by picking a male and a female. And you can see what I had here. I only had one female in the bunch. So I bred this 7,800 HP, which is 44 points, with... which one is it? So I bred the 7,800 HP with the 360 melee until I got a baby that had both, or that had a baby that had both stats and was a female only because all I had was males. So then I took this one. So this one's baby has both high stats from those two. And then I grabbed this one's baby, or this one, and I bred it with the stamina. So I bred those two together until I had both stats onto one. And then I took this one that has both stats, and I bred it with the stamina down here. And I bred and bred and bred until I had an egg or a seed in an Elder Claws case that had all three stats on it. So then I had a baby that had the health, the stamina, and the melee damage. And as you can see, I only have males that have base stats. So I waited until I got a female that now has the health, the stamina, and the melee damage. And then I took this one, and I bred this that has now 3 stats from the original 6. I bred it, the next one. I bred it with the weight down here. And I bred the weight one with my new Elder Claw that has 3 of the stats. And I bred those together and bred them and bred them and bred them until I got a baby that had all 4 stats that I want. And then once I had a baby that had all 4 stats that I wanted, I bred it with... this one's an oxygen. But I took this one that now has 4 of the originals. 4 of the originals are out of the equation. I bred this with the food stat until I had a baby between these two that had all 5 stats. And then once I had a baby that had all 5, or had 5 of the 6 original stats, I bred the very last one with the very last stat and collected eggs until I had a baby over here at a 282 that has every single stat. So all these two here these male and this female, are a individual stat pulled from all 6 of these. Because your level is representative of the actual stat value. If you have... This one has 52 points in health. That's why the level goes up. Because I'm taking the high stat from each one and breeding them together. And the stat is just a representative of like how much stamina it has, how much health it has. And the whole goal is when you're breeding is to take all of your high stats and combine them together. And this is a process. Like this was probably like a month to get to here. Like an actual month to get here. See why I'm so protective? Like when people are like, it's just your whatever. Like it was a month's worth of work to get to there. Rafiki, Hippo still plays ASE. So Hippo in ASA, there's traits that are based off of the other stats. So it's worth it to read the other stats in now. There's traits that are based off of the food stat. There's traits that are based off of the oxygen stat. Yeah, we have traits. So it's a whole different ball game now. Okay, so now that I have... Okay, everyone pay attention. Now that I have the perfect male... I don't have visual representation here, so you just have to shut the fuck up and listen. You have a male and a female. 282, 282. What I do is I get about 10 females. Breed these together and just keep females. Make sure they're all exactly the same. And real quick cliff note. In this process while you're doing this turkey, if you get something that has a mutation on it, throw it in the fucking garbage. At the end, it should look just like this. No mutations, either side. When you get to your perfect male and your perfect female, they have to have 0 mutations. You cannot have random shit in here. That's the big thing. Make sure you have no mutations. So then you're going to breed, and you're going to get about 10 females. 10 282 females. And what you're going to do is you're going to take big fucking Papa, big swinging dick fucking Elderclaw right here. And you're going to breed the male with all 10 females. Until you have a baby that comes out at 284. Which means it has a mutation. You're going to check the mutation. And if it had, so this has 44 points in health. If it had a health mutation, it would then have, it would say 44. And then the next space would say 2. And it's going to be a 284 with 1 mutation, which 1 mutation gives you 2 additional stat points. So the level will go up by 2. And then you raise the male. Make sure you do this on a male. The females just throw them away. It's not worth it anymore. It has to be a male that has the mutation. And then once that male is fully raised and full grown, you take the original male. Very important you save it, but you take the original male and you put it away, and then you take that 284 new male and you put it right here. And then you continue to breed that new male that has 2 points higher with all of the females until you have a dino that comes out. Remember, this is a 284. Then you're going to have one that comes out at a 286. And it will actually stack. You can. It'll be mutated all over the place. You're going to throw away all the other shitty mutations. And you'll wait until one has a second stack of mutation in health. So you're going to wait. It'll go from 44 points. And then your first male is going to have 46 points in health. And then the next one is going to have 48 points in health. And then you raise that male until it's fully grown. And then you pick up the one with 1 mutation stack. And you put the one down with a second mutation stack. And then you breed that with all of your females. The females never change. The females always have to stay the same. And then you breed that one with a second stack of melee or second stack of mutation until you get a 288. And then once you have a 288, you do the same thing. You remove the original male. You put the new male in its position. And you breed it until you have a 290. And you just do that until you have a stack of, say you want 10 stacks of mutation. So they would be 292s. That's 292s, or no, it'd be 302 is 10 stacks of mutations because you get 2 points per mutation. You would take your 302 and then you would just put that away. You would make it a male and you put it away. And then you can bring out your original male again. And you can breed until you have one that's mutated in, let's say, melee damage. And then you start that process over with melee damage until you have another one that's got 10 stacks. And then you pull your other 10 stack back out of the cryo fridge, and you breed those two together until you get dinos that have both stacks on them. But by that point, those are dirty. You can't use those to continue breeding. If you want to continue to mutate and you want to continue to do whatever, you have to go back to the originals. But then you can breed those together to make like a super mutated dino. You should make a YouTube video explaining this, because all the videos I watch is making me fully understand this. It's